You know that strange ache you feel when a memory surfaces out of nowhere. An image, a scent, a whisper from a place you swear you've never been. Yet it pulls at something deep inside you. That's exactly what hit me the moment my fingers brushed the old postcard. At first, I didn't understand why my chest tightened. It was just a rectangle of faded paper, until I turned it over. That's when the world I knew cracked open. Something on that postcard didn't belong to our reality, yet somehow it felt like it always had. And for a moment, I wondered if this small piece of cardboard was quietly offering me the one thing I didn't even realize I'd been craving. A glimpse into a life where the fear we carry every day could finally loosen its grip. On the front, there was a sunlit valley. Lush, vibrant, almost impossibly serene. Humans walked beside towering beasts, creatures we've only seen as fossils or menacing museum skeletons. Yet here they moved with a gentleness that didn't make sense. A girl leaned against the leg of a massive brachiosaurus as casually as someone might sit under a tree. Children fed fruit to a pair of armored ankylosaurs. And high above, pterosaurs glided like living kites, spiraling through the sky with slow, deliberate grace. I stared at that scene, and a single question struck me harder than anything else. What kind of world do you have to build? What kind of pain must you overcome for humans and dinosaurs to trust each other? The back of the postcard held the answer. At least, part of it. It began long before written history, long before the timelines you memorized in school. Archaeologists, in that alternate reality, date the first contact era to nearly 12,000 years antes de Cristo, when early human tribes stumbled upon migrating herds of herbivorous dinosaurs that had survived in remote ecosystems untouched by catastrophic extinction. Instead of fear, the first tribes felt something unexpected: recognition. These creatures weren't predators, they were protectors of the land, keepers of balance. And for a species desperately trying to survive harsh climates and relentless uncertainty, this coexistence offered something humanity had never known: stability. Over generations, humans learned to read dinosaur behavior like language. The rumble of a triceratops herd warned of approaching storms. The sharp calls of smaller feathered raptors signaled shifts in the season. The presence of massive titanosaurs created natural safe zones where apex predators dared not roam. And the dinosaurs, in turn, learned that humans brought fire, shelter, and healing herbs. A bond formed, slowly, cautiously, but real. By year 2600 antes de Cristo, entire regions had transformed into shared habitats where humans built elevated settlements that intertwined with migratory dinosaur paths. The result was a society built on harmony and mutual respect. But the postcard wasn't trying to teach me history. It wanted to show me a truth that felt almost uncomfortably hopeful. Peace was possible. Even with beings powerful enough to eliminate a human with a single misstep, peace was possible. Halfway through reading, something unexpected happened. I caught myself smiling. Not a big smile, just that tiny one, the kind that slips out when your mind drifts somewhere softer than usual. Maybe it was the way the writer described hearing a diplodocus humming late at night, the sound resonating through the earth like a lullaby. Or maybe it was the image of families gathering at sunrise to watch a flock of Quetzalcoatlus take flight over the cliffs. Whatever it was, it made me feel, strangely, like I was being invited into something warm. As if the world inside that postcard wasn't just peaceful, but gently asking me to breathe a little slower, to imagine what life could feel like without the constant hum of modern exhaustion. But this parallel world wasn't naive. It knew danger existed, just not in the way we imagine. Carnivorous species still hunted. Nature remained wild. But instead of conflict, humans adapted their communities with safe zones, elevated pathways, and respectful distance. No wars were fought against the dinosaurs, no attempts to dominate them. The societies of that reality had watched ecosystems collapse before, had witnessed what happens when life is taken for granted, and they refused to repeat the mistakes that nearly eliminated them once. It was the ultimate lesson humanity had been slow to learn here. Survival isn't about domination, it's about partnership, and the more I read, the more the writer seemed to speak directly to me. answering questions I did not realize I'd been asking. How do you build trust with something powerful enough to break you? By proving over and over that you choose respect instead of fear. How do you live without constant dread? By accepting that danger doesn't have to be your enemy. How do you rebuild a world that feels broken? You start by honoring every life that walks through it, even the ones taller than your house. The final lines of the postcard are what stayed with me the most. The writer said, "If you ever feel like the world is too sharp, too loud, too full of weight, come find us. In our reality, the giants never died, and somehow neither did we." I closed my eyes after reading that, and something shifted inside me, like a quiet promise that maybe, just maybe, the world we dream of doesn't have to stay imaginary. Sometimes all it takes is a glimpse into a different reality to remind us of what we could still build in our own. Before you go, I want to ask you something. If this story pulled you in, if it made you see the world a little differently, even for a moment, then imagine what else we can explore together. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share this story with someone who needs a pause from the chaos of our world. You'd be surprised how many people out there are carrying postcards of their own. They just haven't turned them over yet. Let's help them do that.